The shocking paternity twist rocking Salem. Did Jeremy really swap those test results? Hello, fellow Days of Our Lives fans. If you've been glued to your screens like I have for the past several decades covering this wild ride we call Salem, you know that nothing, and I mean nothing, is ever quite what it seems in this town. Babies, DNA tests, switched results, it's practically a rite of passage here. But the latest bombshell involving Alex, Joy, little Kelsey, and the ever-scheming shadow of Jeremy has me pacing my living room just like you probably are. Could Jeremy have tampered with Kelsey's paternity test before he skipped town? If that theory holds water, then Alex Kyriakis isn't Kelsey's father at all. And if that's true, the emotional earthquake we just witnessed in the latest episode is only the beginning of a story that could tear apart lives and ignite decades-old feuds all over again. Let's dive deep into what we saw, what it might mean, and why my gut tells me this is classic Jeremy Horton-style sabotage. In the most recent episode, the tension had been building for weeks. Alex had been waiting on those paternity results with the kind of nervous energy that only a man suddenly facing fatherhood in Salem can muster. When the envelope finally landed in his hands, the world seemed to stop. Alex stared at the paper, his face cycling through shock, disbelief, and then slowly a cautious, growing joy. The results were clear. He is Kelsey's biological father. The little girl who arrived in Salem with her mother, Joy, is indeed a Kyriakis. But as any longtime viewer knows, joy in Salem is usually followed by a very large but. Later that evening, Alex spotted Joy at the pub, that familiar, comforting hub where so many secrets have been spilled over coffee, beer, and the occasional dramatic outburst. The place was buzzing with the usual low hum of Salem life, distant laughter from the bar, the clink of glasses, and the undercurrent of gossip that never truly dies down. Alex approached her, results in hand, his voice steady but laced with something deeper. "I got the results," he told her. He searched her eyes, convinced she already knew the truth. And she did. Joy's reaction was pure soap opera gold, a mix of relief, vulnerability, and that quiet fear every single mother carries when the father of her child suddenly enters the picture with money, family power, and a complicated romantic life. "Now that he knows he's a dad," she said, her voice trembling just enough to break your heart, "what do we do?" Alex didn't hesitate. He reached for her hand across the table, a small gesture loaded with years of missed opportunities. "We figured this out together," he replied. His eyes shone with determination. "I want to spend as much time with my daughter as possible. I've already missed so much. I won't miss any more." The conversation unfolded like a slow-burning fuse. Joy confessed that her life back in New York wasn't much to return to a string of dead-end jobs, lonely nights, and the constant worry of raising Kelsey alone. "If you want us here in Salem," she said softly, "we'll stay. For Kelsey. For whatever this is becoming." Alex's answer came without pause. "I definitely want you both to stay." But then, reality crashed in, as it always does in Salem. Joy's face clouded over at the mention of Stephanie. "She won't be happy about this," Joy warned. "A ready-made family showing up on her doorstep? That's a lot to ask anyone to accept." Alex tried to sound reassuring. "Stephanie understands that we all have to adapt. Life changes. People change." But even as he said the words, you could see the doubt flickering behind his eyes. Stephanie Johnson has been through enough heartbreak in her life. She's strong, resilient, and deeply in love with Alex, but how much can one woman be expected to adapt when her partner's secret child and ex suddenly become permanent fixtures in their world? Later, Alex sat down with Stephanie. The scene was intimate, charged with all the love and fear that makes Days of Our Lives so addictive. He told her about meeting Joy, about the results, about his decision to have them stay in Salem. Stephanie listened, really listened, but you could see the walls going up. The woman who has fought for her happiness time and again now faces the ultimate test, sharing the man she loves with a child who represents a past he never knew he had. Will love be enough? Or will this be the crack that finally breaks them apart? And here, dear readers, is where the real drama kicks in. Because this entire situation feels too convenient, too perfectly timed, enter Jeremy. That name alone should send chills down the spine of longtime fans. Jeremy has a history of manipulation, of pulling strings from the shadows, of destroying relationships when it suits his agenda. Before he left Salem, he had every opportunity and every motive to tamper with those test results. Think about it. Jeremy has always resented Alex's growing stability, his connection to the Kyriakis Empire, and especially his relationship with Stephanie. Swapping the results would be child's play for someone with his cunning. Make Alex believe he's a father, force him to rearrange his entire life, drive a wedge between him and Stephanie so deep it can never be repaired. Then, when the truth eventually explodes, and it always does in Salem, the devastation would be complete. Alex shattered, Stephanie gone, Joy and Kelsey caught in the crossfire, and Jeremy somewhere laughing at the chaos he orchestrated. I've seen this town survive everything from demonic possessions to baby switches to corporate takeovers, but the emotional toll of a false paternity revelation hits different. Imagine the scenes coming up. Alex bonding with Kelsey, teaching her about her Kyriakis heritage, only for the rug to be pulled out. Joy's world crumbling again as she realizes she was used as a pawn. Stephanie torn between loyalty and self-preservation. And somewhere in the background, perhaps a devastated Jeremy watching the fallout, or worse, returning to twist the knife further. This storyline has all the hallmarks of classic Days of Our Lives storytelling. It echoes the legendary baby switches and paternity lies that define generations. Think of the epic reveals involving Bo, Hope, Victor, and so many others. The writers are masters at making us fall in love with new family dynamics only to shatter them spectacularly. Will Kelsey turn out to be Alex's after all, making this a beautiful second chance story? Or is Jeremy's sabotage about to turn this into one of the most heartbreaking arcs in recent memory? The beauty of soap operas is that nothing is set in stone. Results can be retested. Secrets always surface. And in Salem, love has a way of surviving even the most explosive lies, but not without paying a heavy price. What do you think, fans? Does Jeremy's fingerprints feel all over this? Would Stephanie really walk away? Or will she fight for the life she's built with Alex? And most importantly, is little Kelsey truly a Kyriakis? Or is another devastating twist waiting just around the corner? I'll be watching every episode with you, taking notes, and dissecting every loaded glance and whispered conversation. Because if there's one thing I've learned after all these years embedded in the Days of Our Lives universe, it's that the truth in Salem is never simple, and the road to happily ever after is paved with more switch tests, surprise relatives, and dramatic confrontations than any of us can count. Drop your theories in the comments. Who else believes Jeremy rigged this? How far will Alex go to keep his new family together? And can Stephanie's heart survive another Salem storm? Until next time, stay dramatic, Salem. We're in for one hell of a ride.